You have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who deep in thought nearly trip over pixies delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein.
Hello everyone! Happy Friday and welcome to Castle Falkenstein. I am Simon at Wandering_DM and I am playing today Jonathan von Brandt, the elf captain of the French Foreign Legion. I have with me a cast of incredible players. Without further ado, let's introduce them and their characters, and we'll start with Kenny.
Hello, my name is Kenny, and I am playing as Clint Smolder.
Left of Kenny on the overlay is Deirdre.
Hey all, tonight I am the wonderful Contessa Lucrezia Sofia Fioravanti, and we're going to have so much fun and drink so much wine. It'll be fabulous.
And right above the Contessa is PB.
Hello, I am PB, and today I'm going to be playing Isolina Montiel Atenas, the other half of the Lady Detectives, and I am looking forward to seeing what I'm going to do on this train with my companions and my new hedgehog Arsenio.
And well, this whole adventure would not be possible without a host. Without further ado, let's leave the mic to Chris. Introduce yourself, and then we'll move on to the introduction of the game.
Thank you, Simon. And thank you to everyone that's come to join us again this Friday evening. I am Chris Geary, and I am your host for Adventures in Castle Falkenstein. One thing that I would like to point out that sometimes I forget is that if you would like to give a little luck to our players, you can find the donations below the screen. Down there, you can give them boosts. You can give me boosts against them. You can increase their skills if you think that they're using them well. Feel free to chime in and help this channel continue all of the great games that it does each and every week. As well, I do believe this channel is sponsored by Mage Hand Press, all of the wonderful people over at Mage Hand Press. Thank you so much for what you do for the channel Wandering DM.
All right, we'll move on to the game itself. Whoop, wrong camera. That was weird. Apparently, Deirdre is now the host.
I mean, that's not my usual title.
Let me fix that.
I want to hear Chris do an Italian accent now.
Good luck.
No, it's gonna take just a second. There we go. We are ready.
Excellent. Okay. So, last episode on Adventures in Castle Falkenstein. Isolina, Esme, and the Contessa were minding their own business when a flurry of hedgehogs was released on the unsuspecting dining car. As the train staff bustled to contain our little visitors and other passengers shrieked and startled, the three ladies watched with keen attention. Bets were wagered whether it was the start of a robbery or a hostage situation. Neither answer was readily apparent. Once the hedgehog pandemonium was contained, and after a dashing gentleman joined their table, Isolina and her newlywed wife Esme retired to the bar car. Speaking of dashing strangers, both the dinner guest and an American traveler had begun our evening in the parlor car, where they had watched a conductor hurry towards the back of the train and two new faces slink in after the conductor had left. One, a nervous antiquities dealer, spurred Captain von Brunt to make his way to the dining car, where he sat and mingled with our lady detectives. The other, a red-haired woman, made less of an impression, as Clint, the American, paid her no mind and instead engaged the nervous man. All four of our cast eventually met up in the bar car to toast the happy couple, meet Arsenio and Marcello, the newly acquired hedgehogs, and flirt over some drinks. Between flirting and drinking, Clint's depiction of the antiquities dealer and a need for a proper mode of transport for Arsenio and Marcello, our players were enticed to seek out the nervous man, who'd retired to one of the private drawing rooms in the parlor car. Inside the drawing room, the Contessa and Isolina discovered the man to be little more than an empty suit and a bundle of mystery. Who is this mysterious stranger? Where did he go? And why was the conductor so quick to pin the hedgehog invasion on a child? With those questions on our mind, let us rejoin our cast as they continue their performance upon New Europa's stage. But before we draw back the curtain and pour another drink, we will consult the fortune deck as we do each session. What do the cards have in store for our saucy crew tonight? We will do a help hinder harm this evening and see exactly what kinds of things are in store. Our help card. We have the King of Spades. The King, a powerful, dominant figure, here to bring passion and power to our group. Next, what might hinder them? The 9 of clubs. This is the triple divine card, the reaping of some sort of fiery result. And what might harm them? The end, the final, the donnez-moi of that passion, that fiery passion. What might that be? Might their flirting go too far? Let's find out as we return to our players. So, last we were in the drawing room, or the drawing room in the private car. You had an empty suit, a rubber mask, an empty briefcase, a hollowed-out cane with missing its topper, and a lot of questions. Who would like to pick up where they left off?
Quick question. Are there any silkworms in the hollow part of that cane?
Silkworms. Excellent question. No, there are not.
You got to be careful of monks in this time and age, you know?
It is true.
And we're going to show the handkerchief to the Capitan, right, Isolina?
Yes. See if he recognizes the logo from his adventures. Though I feel like I have some suspicions as to who it might be, but I'd rather get some confirmation.
I mean, Capitan, does this look familiar to you?
And I'll take the handkerchief and give it a look. Yeah. Yep. This is bad news.
Oh,
We're dealing here with my old nemesis, the World Crime League.
amateurs.
What? No, they're powerful and competent. That's what makes them dangerous. That's what makes them my nemesis.
Yes, they're competent at causing problems, but they're not competent at actually ruling a country or getting anything done.
Yes, I mean, how long have they existed? And really, what is the one? What have they done that is of note? Really, though.
Or successful.
They've started
long term.
wars.
Yes, they start them, but they don't end them, and they don't end up in control of anything after they're done.
Maybe agents of chaos, you can call them, but successful, I would not.
Yes, agents of chaos. They're very much that.
I mean, today they got some petticoats up from hedgehogs running around.
I
Exactly.
don't think the Hedgehogs were part of a World Crime League plan. Hedgehogs seems to be a lot below their, usual shenanigans.
Well, that is what you think.
But
When we find them, we will ask them.
definitely. I mean, we'll definitely have to ask. Also, is this the rubber mask face thing something that they do frequently?
Especially the leave it around places. Like, this is just sloppy work.
Or should we be looking for a dead body to go with this, whatever this is?
The encounters I've had with the World Crime League have not been of a... How can I put that? Of a cloak and dagger nature. Normally they've been more violent and brief.
Well, there's still time.
I would not know about such masks, I'm afraid.
So if you're saying that they're a threat, they're not likely to be cowards.
No, they're not. They're usually well-equipped, well-armed.
Well, with a name like Agents of Chaos. What was it? I'm sorry,
The
World Crime
League.
Yeah. I mean, that's a name that says, hey, look at me. I'm a criminal.
It also says that you want to be a criminal, not a king or a duke or anyone of actual note or power.
That doesn't make them any less of a threat.
No, I'm not denying they're a threat. I'm just saying that there's a difference about being worried about being shot or robbed and having your country invaded.
But they can do both.
True. Or at
They
least
can do
start
both.
one.
Thank you, Hawkeye. Deuces Wild. Everybody gets a +2 that they can use on their next heroic feat.
Thank you so much.
But there was something in this hat, wasn't there? Piece of paper.
Yes, with the prayer, correct?
Yes. And I don't know what saint. It was supposed to be a saint, right?
Yes. It was a prayer to a saint. Let me see again, Saint. I wrote that down. Joseph.
I don't think somehow that the hat belonged to the individual that is currently had it. Or if it did, he went very far away from his original path.
Or maybe it was a gift from their mother.
Prayers to St. Joseph, usually not the mother, possibly their father.
If he was selling antiquities, maybe it did belong to someone else.
Oh, that is a good point. A hand-me-down of sorts. So odd that a crime organization would not check every nook and cranny of their items. Well, no one ever called them smart. Well,
Dangerous, but not smart.
exactly. Well, according to this mask, it looks like the culprit, or whomever this is, has a cleft chin. But aside from that, there's not many markings on it. So we're looking for somebody with a clean face. Oh, there's no marks of like a beard or anything, right?
Correct.
Yes,
And there wasn't anything that the powder imprint pulled up on the.
Nothing other than kind of a shape, but it's going from 3D to 2D, so it's a little distorted. But you do have a face shape, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't pull up any particulates.
Yeah. All right. Well, this will be entertaining.
If nothing else. There's no sign of. Do you guys remember what color the eyes of this person was? His antiquity seller.
He sat behind me. Couldn't have seen his face. I'm sorry. Clint?
Do I remember?
What's your is perception average for you?
Good.
Good. You would say medium brown.
Brown.
Well, the 1800s. I guess that's common. Okay. Well, a cleft chin, brown eyes. How difficult will that be to find?
Do you suggest we look at everyone one by one?
He sounded
Pretty
kind of
safe.
English, like British.
Have you ever met an Englishman?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have.
Just checking.
Okay. All right. Then I will take into account your assessment of that accent.
You'd also remember that he had a very deep voice.
Yeah, his voice was kind of gravelly, kind of rich. Not high pitch.
Okay. Deep gravelly. English. Cleft chin, brown eyes.
How tall was he?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because and the shoes are still here, right?
Correct.
And it doesn't look like there are any lifts in the shoes, correct?
We did not inspect the shoes before the end of last session. We noted them.
Well, she's going to pick them up because she already noted that the suit looked like.
Cheap amalgamation.
Yeah.
More like a costume than an actual
Yeah.
suit for.
Actual. But the shoes.
The shoes look very new, and as you look inside, there are lifts and they're stuffed at the toe, like they were too large for the person wearing them.
Well, however tall he was, he's actually shorter.
I do remember he had some interesting behavior. He came into the car after some hours on the journey and sat down, but then just a little bit later, he got back up and went to another place. He could have been going, trying to get away from someone or something.
Or try to find a place where he could...
Dissolve?
I was going to go with transform into a swarm of hedgehogs.
This was post hedgehogs, if I remember.
Okay, good.
I mean, if there could always be more hedgehogs, I suppose. Maybe there was another person who dissolved into hedgehogs.
The partner.
Is it common in magical circles to transform yourself into multiple objects or animals? Just asking.
I've only always been in one piece.
That's good. That's good. Multiple pieces seems like a bad idea.
Depends. There would be more of me to go around, but...
Well,
but less of you to be appreciated.
Touche.
If we're following this line of thought, thinking back on those hedgehogs, did they move in a coordinated way? Did they move in a way that's made you think they were smart?
No, just look at the two that they're holding.
Esme pets Marcella and goes, "You are a very smart hedgehog, aren't you?" Mm-hmm. Yes, you are.
Just scratch its little nose, like the bridge of its nose.
It gives you a big hedgehog smile.
Look at them. Agents
face
of
it over.
chaos, all of them.
I think it is more likely that we were a diversion or just happenstance.
I mean, we could check their bellies for brands. Do you want to see if there's a World Crime League on their tummy?
Now, what kind of evil people would brand a poor little hedgehog?
I figure somebody who's part of a group called the World Crime League is going to be by definition evil, Isolina.
I mean, being a criminal does not mean you are evil. Isn't that right, you little agent of chaos? And I turn it on its back, so I'm scratching its belly.
You find no branding on its belly when you give it a good scratch.
No, no one branded you. You are a good little Arsenio, are you not? Well.
Back to the task at hand.
Well, I mean, obviously we had to, Oh, you are not a man of science. You are not Oberon.
Who's that?
We, need to... If we come up with a theory, we have to either prove or disprove it.
Yes. And I think at this point we can say that whatever this person was, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but the suit was intact when it was sitting, kind of laying against the chair, correct?
Absolutely. Like whatever was inside it just poofed. And so when you came in, it actually still had some shape to it. And as soon as you got close enough to like disturb it with the vibrations of your feet, it just deflated.
So either it transformed into something like, say, a snake so it could get out without leaving any mark, or it literally went poof and teleported, and there's like no ash or anything, like remains of anything, right?
Correct. There are no signs of any remains, just an empty suit.
And we haven't seen any naked men running around.
Is it possible...
You have your clothes on, right?
Yes.
Then no, we have not seen any naked men running around.
Depends what time of day is it.
Is it possible that it is a fae? Something that could be big, and then they made them some small and left. Though I'm not very versed in the Fae.
Well, if these hedgehogs were a diversion from something, do we want to go check out where they were released?
I was going to suggest it, particularly as apparently a small child could get around the security system and get into the luggage car.
Yeah, we could try to get into the luggage cart ourselves. I mean, how hard can it be if a child did it?
And he doesn't have some of our positive attributes.
Are you suggesting we flirt our way to the baggage train?
That or I bribe people. One or the other.
If that doesn't work, I got some muscle.
That's always option C.
All right, so we got interpersonal, social, and physical.
Yep.
I think we're covered.
Well, then let us go. So I will stop by the bar car really quickly. I'm still on my honeymoon. And I just want to go get another glass of wine. Because who are we if not winos?
I mean, this one is empty, so we should definitely fix that. Which way is... But the bar car is in the opposite... Oh, well, we'll just go and come back.
Exactly.
I get a flask out of my coat. I start drinking.
Between where you are and the back of the train, that you have to go through the bar car.
Oh, we do? Oh,
Yes.
even better.
Yep.
We'll go through the bar.
So see Tristan.
Mm-hmm. He's a very nice bartender. I will have to give positive marks for the bartender on this train.
Yelp review 5 stars.
Negative marks for the lead conductor and letting the child run around into the luggage car. Also, Signore Capitan, you still have my pin, right?
Always. It's in my hand.
Okay, good.
Right now.
Okay. Off to Tristan. And the bar.
And the wine.
Do you take anything with you or just leave it all there?
The Contessa's gonna palm the
Cane?
the cane, yeah,
Okay.
as she walks by.
Make sure to keep a hold of the handkerchief.
Okay.
Oh, and the shirt.
The shirt?
Yes,
Yeah, that we
because-
took the powdered imprint on.
Oh, right.
Gotcha. So you're just going to kind of like, are you going to fold it up or
Wait, you said that his case is still there?
briefcase is there and it's open and empty?
Did we check for a false bottom in the briefcase?
I don't think we did, no.
No, I don't think we got that far.
Nobody played with the empty briefcase.
I'm going to play with the briefcase. And for once, this is not a euphemism.
Excellent. Are you using the application of any skills or just your delicate touch?
I would be using... Does it count as perception?
It can. Absolutely.
Then I will be using perception. Which is
Excellent.
it's not a spade. Perception, is it a spade or a club?
Diamond.
Oh, it's a
Diamonds.
diamond.
Diamond.
Wow.
Mental.
that was-
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have a diamond, so let's just play it. It's nothing big,
Excellent.
and my perception is average.
Okay. So
six.
as you kind of work your way through the briefcase itself, you find that it's old and worn a bit. Feels kind of secondhand in a lot of ways. You don't find any false bottom on it. You do notice that it doesn't seem to have anything special about it other than it just an opening that something was able to fit in. In fact, the top of it usually has like some sort of pouch for carrying extra whatever has been cut out of it. So it's just a shell to hold whatever this person was carrying.
Like an army of hedgehogs.
Looking at Arsenio and Marcelo and then back at the briefcase, you think that maybe 10 hedgehogs could fit in there if they liked one another and didn't have personal space issues, but not 20 to 30.
Okay, wait, there were like 20 to 30 hedgehogs on the train? Because in my mind, it was like a handful.
No, it was dozens of hedgehogs running through the dining car.
Then let's fold the shirt, put it into the briefcase. Actually, let's take everything we can, put it in the briefcase, and we'll leave with it.
If you want, you can actually fit everything that's in there, except for the cane, into the briefcase.
And Signore Capitan, the pin should fit in that hole in the cane.
It would. The topper doesn't.
Yeah, well, the topper.
It rattles.
But yeah. But you could definitely carry it as long as you palm toward the top to hold it in place. It wouldn't look out of place. And then the blade wouldn't just be staring at people.
Yeah, right. I've been walking with like a knife in my hand for the past couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Or a small short sword.
With an 18-inch blade just kind of waving out in the wind.
I mean,
that was kind of normal for Captain von Brandt, though.
Waving an 18-inch long something in the wind? Yeah.
Something like that. At least that's what the story's on.
And still not the strangest thing that happened on this train yet.
And I don't know if it counts as the most interesting either.
Ooh.
That was synchronized.
So, bar to the luggage car.
Yes, and I do believe that Isolina and Esme were leading the way to the bar. Yeah, I got the impression that Isolina was like, nope, drinks. This is a honeymoon.
Is it a honeymoon? I am doing a murder mystery and wine at the same time.
Only the best way to go, right?
Exactly. I mean, what is an adventure without wine?
So as the two hedgehog bearers lead the way back to the bar car, and who's carrying the briefcase?
I will.
Okay,
well, unless
along
Clint,
with...
you wanted.
No. Clint's going to follow back by probably about a minute or so.
Okay. And you also, then Von Brandt also has the cane, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. As you all make your way in, you'll find Tristan and the other server actually still sitting around. There's no one else in the bar car at this moment. Tristan catches the sight of Isolina and Esme, notices their glasses, and pulls out a bottle immediately and proffers it towards you.
I see a man of culture. Thank you so much. And I grab the glasses that need to be grabbed, and I put them on the bar top, so it's easier for him to pour.
Excellent. He quickly pours and then kind of looks at the next two that come in, and instead of stopping, most wine glasses, they'll stop the pour at about a third of the glass. He goes to about 3/4, so that way you can get a few drinks and then move and it won't spill. And then turns his attention to Von Brandt and the Contessa, gesturing towards the Contessa that he can top her off with wine.
Do appreciate it, but I think it's time to change. It's a little bit after dinner. Time to change it up. Can I get an Aperol, please?
He shrugs and says, of course.
In a ice with a dash of white wine on top.
Okay. And it takes him a minute or two, but he prepares what you requested and hands it to you. And then with his offhand, grabs the bottle of bourbon and uncorks it with his teeth, and then reaches out to pour into Von Brunt's glass.
Why, thank you, my good sir. Wink.
He politely smiles, stops at about a third, and then goes to half the glass, and then sets down the bottle. Now with both hands free, gets some ice, chips some ice, and offers it to you on a little saucer to put in your cup if you wish.
And I do.
Excellent. Now that we have drinks, is there any other actions you'd like to do in the bar car?
No, I think we should just head to the luggage car.
Okay.
Unless somebody else has another idea.
So Clint is hanging behind, and he's going to be watching everyone else in the cars as he slowly moves through to see if anyone does anything out of the usual.
Okay. The car that you just came from, there were only 2 other people in that car at this point. Excellent card played. Good, you said, was your perception. So
yep,
we're talking a 20 there. Very nice. You will note that the bar car is the next car over from where you were. So there's no one else to see here. We'll hold on to this as we go through the dining car and on our way back, and just kind of hold on to it for you until you change active action. But until then, we'll kind of hold that as what you are doing while you follow the group, if that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 people in the parlor car, one of them was napping. They were napping when you walked in. They're still napping when you walk out. The other one is reading a book and kind of looks up as you all pass, but doesn't really seem to care other than just noting that you're not paying attention to them. You're not coming over to talk to them. That's all they're looking to see.
I'm definitely keeping an eye for anyone. I'm clocking anyone who doesn't have facial hair and who has a cleft chin.
Fair enough.
As far as I could see.
And if that was also part of what you were doing, Clint, that neither of them were bearded, but neither of them had a cleft chin. One of them, the napping gentleman, is quite rotund and probably wouldn't have fit behind the mask. The reader is a elderly woman who she's probably a bit of a busybody. You can tell by her eyes, but she really doesn't want to be bothered. But no cleft chins for either of your notices as you walk past. Any other actions before we move on through the dining car and to the, toward the back of the train? We've got a number of cars to get through.
No, just keeping eye out, but also doing as she did before, kind of social talking to everyone as the party as they're walking, and occasionally switching to something like French or Italian, went to specify something as kind of dropping other social cues of there's no reason to pay any attention to us. We're just a bunch of socialites on an after dinner walk and drinking. Lots of drinking.
Okay.
And that and social graces remind me that's hearts, right? No, spades.
Spades, yes.
Spades. Right. Okay. And she, just make sure that no one's really paying much attention to them.
Okay. Did you want to play a card, or were you just curious as to what the suit was?
I was just curious what the suit was.
Fair enough. I just did not want to skip ahead if that was something that you were looking to do.
I mean, she could play.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure I did not move on before you had finished.
No, that's it.
Fair enough. You, as normal, seem to do well to control the attentions of the people that engage, even passively. You believe that the perceptions are also well intact. Into the dining car. You'll find more diners. Everything's kind of calm now. The diners from before who experienced the hedgehogs are finishing up their desserts and starting to exit about the time that you make your way through. There'll be, because it is a train car, some of them will wait, others will, excuse me, try and sidle past. It just really depends on their own personal level of social graces. Is there anything any of you want to do there other than just keeping an eye out for those who you encounter?
I think for my part, the captain would look for anyone who might give a look of recognition towards the suitcase. Briefcase.
Okay.
In case someone recognizes it because it was stolen from them or what have you. So I'm looking for a reaction in anyone's face if anyone darts their eyes towards the suitcase for any reason.
Some people will actually just size you up, but you don't see any eyes that seem to linger on the briefcase as you're walking through.
Okay.
Do you want to play any cards to enhance that, or just passively looking?
It would just be passively looking.
That is fair. For the other two, obviously the Contessa, you're keeping things moving smoothly, socially lubricated quite well. And the other two, what you'll see is a number of people, clean shaven, some not so, variety of ages. And you'll notice that nothing that you would think of as a cleft chin at this point that you can pick out. Clint, you will also notice, though, that there are a number of people that seem to, and you're not necessarily unfamiliar with this, but that seem to focus on the gun at your belt. So that's about the only different response that you're getting in this car.
Yeah, Clint moves with purpose, but also with care, so as not to make anybody nervous, more nervous than what they already are being around a gun.
Yeah. So you'll notice their eyes linger on it, kind of then size you up and kind of look for intention in your posture, that sort of thing. Finding none, as Clint is often the cool customer when it comes to that, not really tipping their hand. They just return to eating. Of any of them that stand out, there is a woman well dressed in finery, very similar to the Contessa, except not all black. Probably some station or whatnot that does seem to give you a little bit of a once over and a smirk. She seems to be trying to make eye contact through your sunglasses.
I think as Clint passes by, he'll tip his hat and say, "Evening."
She smiles and says, "Ooh, I thought you were an American. I haven't had one of those."
I didn't realize we were for purchase.
Some are.
That's fair enough. Are you enjoying your ride?
I am now.
What did you think of the hedgehogs?
I heard all about them. I wasn't here for that, though. Cute little things, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I can see their appeal. Where are you headed?
Geneva, with the train.
That's your final stop?
Maybe. I haven't decided yet.
What's your name?
Lady Maribel.
Clint will hold out their hand to offer.
And she will put out her hand, palm down.
And yeah, Clint will grasp it and lean down for a kiss.
She will smile.
And Clint will look up from the hand and briefly look over his sunglasses, in which, if she pays close enough attention, she'll notice that his eyes are vertically slit.
You'll see that she does notice, and her eyes kind of light up, not as though she found something interesting. You've seen that look in the eyes of, like, well, recently, the Contessa and Isolina, when they found out the suit was empty.
My name is Clint. I'm charmed.
The pleasure's all mine, Clint.
Perhaps I can meet you in the bar car a little bit later on this evening for a nightcap.
Perhaps.
But I have some purpose that I need to attend to.
Indeed you do.
And Clint will step away, let go of her hand, and tip his hat again. I'll keep an eye on you.
I hope you keep more than that. And she'll turn back to her food and kind of glance over her shoulder and give you a wink.
Clint will tip his hat again and turn back around.
The car after the dining car is the common car. Lots of bench-style seating with a center row, a little narrower than the parlor cars that are on toward the front of the train. A lot less cushy, but a lot more economical price-wise. This car actually has more people in it. You'd say about 10. Many of them seem to be waiting for the dinner car to clear out. You get that impression because they're sitting toward the front. None of them have any bags or packages or anything with them. They are kind of eyeing the door and looking over their shoulder at the conductor who's in that car, kind of attending to other paperwork as he's waiting to let them know that the next round of meals will be ready. What do the four of you do while our the three of you, four with Esme. The four of you do while our fifth is lingering for a minute in the dining car?
The Contessa's just keeping up just social control, even more now that you're in the second class car.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll but she's keeping an eye out on everyone as well.
Okay.
And she moves equally as confidently through this car as she does through the first class cars.
Excellent.
There's nothing here that bothers her.
Oh no, peasants, don't touch me. No.
That's not the Contessa.
If anything, I'm just more lovey-dovey with Esme than anything else.
Excellent. The two of you can, do all of the fun little PDA things that turn the stomachs of some and enhearten and melt the hearts of others. And at the same time, you can dote on hedgehogs. Is there anything in particular you'd like to do while you are enjoying each other's company?
Because I know how easy it is to hide in plain sight, especially in groups like this, I am paying special attention as I'm like doting on both my wife and our hedgehogs, our beautiful new children. I'm making sure I'm like keeping an eye out on all the faces I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing if anything is of particular interest. Any unique scarring on their face that is not from just like an accident that happened working or something like that, but rather something a little bit more purposeful. And still looking out, clean face, cleft chin.
No, I mean, basically what you see before you is, cleaned up, traveling, working class people. None of them seem destitute in any way. They all seem like they're just on their way somewhere, fairly nondescript. You do notice the child from before in the dining car that was chastised by the conductor.
She wasn't there.
Oh, she wasn't? Then you wouldn't have noticed that. I thought that was before you left. That was after you left, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was me and the
Excellent.
Capitan.
Then scratch that. Variety of ages, parents with children, people wearing what you imagine is probably their best clothing for travel. And the reason that you can tell that is because they're slightly uncomfortable in their posture, like people do when they're wearing their Sunday best out somewhere that they normally wouldn't necessarily wear their Sunday best.
I totally get it. All right, cool. I'm just gonna keep an eye out like that. Using, I was gonna say the pretense of being lovey-dovey and our hedgehogs, but like I'm still doting, and I'm just using that as an opportunity. So that's just what I'm doing, just making sure to see if I can clock anyone of interest. Because now that I know that there's a world crime organization, who knows what those guys look like,
That's very true. And what you do know of them, because you've heard of them before, is that they are the common bogeyman used by a lot of different groups that to kind of talk about threats, existential threats that are of the unseen, the unknown, because they could be anyone, anywhere. They're anonymity for their regular rank and file is part of their strength. But most of the ones at the top actually have some level of like notoriety. So you've heard stories about a variety of them, none that would match the description of the person, but you don't have much to go off of.
Mm-hmm.
So that would
just
I'm guessing.
I guess just because there's not many people on this ship, not a ship on this train, so I'm just committing as many things of note to memory, more in their physical appearance rather than like their clothing. Not so much your profile, more the details.
Okay.
Because I've noticed in the past how you can't rely on profile. Flashback to the Unseelie from last season. So that is that's just what I'm doing for future reference.
Okay. Yeah. So you'll take note, kind of catalog what you're seeing, looking for anything out of the ordinary. The conductor that's back here would be the one that came from this end of the car when the hedgehogs were released and the whole kerfluffle began. Not the one that seemed to be more in charge, or at least the one that was louder. Outside of that, pretty straightforward. Let's move on to Captain Von Brandt.
Yes.
Is there anything that you're doing in the coach car different from what you were doing in the dining car?
Since there's more people in the coach car, I think Von Brandt would be a bit more aware of their surroundings. I'm not looking for anyone with a cleft chin anymore. I'm looking for anyone who could potentially be an envoy. Someone who would be there for me. So I'm looking for anyone that would look suspicious or that looks suspiciously at me.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing more.
Are you doing anything to augment your skills at this point? You don't have to, but before I answer, I just want to know.
Yeah, I might burn a card on that. Yeah, I just need to burn something, anything here. Give myself a +1.
And I will do the same. So they kind of balance out. And you look around and nothing in particular that would make you worry. You would say there is a chance that a couple of them seem to look away. You don't know if it's because they are intimidated by your group. All of you do look, well, at least the three ladies with you all look very much a higher class than them. You being a soldier kind of skirt that line depending on how you want to present yourself. So they may not be reacting that way to you, but they're definitely reacting sort of that way to the group. A couple of them do turn away as to try and not draw attention. And one of them kind of sighs heavily and leans back, pulling his hat down over his face like he's taking a nap and is frustrated with the weight.
Okay. I'll keep that one in mind. As much as I can. Like, the shape of his hat, the color, how they're dressed.
Okay.
Because it seems to me they were just hiding their face.
Yeah. average build, gentleman, beard, kind of plain brown, wide-brimmed hat for traveling. Clothing itself is fairly well taken care of. I wouldn't say pressed, but definitely everything seems to be in its place.
Okay. And he doesn't look out of place among the common working class.
No, a little bit more put together in some ways, a little better organized than some of the others, especially some of the parents with children who have a lot to kind of wrangle all at once. But other than that, and the fact that he decided to take a nap and sighed heavily enough that you're like, hey, kind of drawing your attention that direction. Nothing really.
All right. Good to know.
Would I notice the kid?
Yes, you would notice the kid.
As we walk by, she'd kind of wink at him.
He'd look at you and like look around like he doesn't know what to do with that, because he's a kid, and kind of blush a little and smile because he seems like he's feeling super awkward about the fact that not just that you winked at him, but also that you seem to have noticed him and remembered who he was. You don't think that he gets that very often.
Nope. But I'll remember him all the time on this train. Use what you've got.
I've already forgotten what he looks like.
If he would have been of, legal age, it'd be a totally different story then.
I would not be not flirting with him. Just
I was
remembering.
talking about Captain Von Braun.
Oh, well, that's true.
Who seems to flirt with anything that moves.
Except
And
the
he's a-
hedgehogs.
Well,
That's
you don't know
good.
if they're of age. And you don't speak hedgehog, so you can't tell if they consented. So it's fair that you didn't, don't flirt with them.
But I have a power. And it's not specifically stated in the book, but I'm not going to go there.
That's a conversation for another session.
The power of hedgehog love.
Nope.
All right.
What's wrong
About this time, Clint, you make your way in to the common car. You see the general description in which I gave to you, or gave to the rest of the group. You will also note the one person kind of sleeping, reclined a bit on the bench as much as they can. It's tightly packed. Even though there aren't that many people, they're all congregated toward the front as they're awaiting their turn in the dinner car.
Okay. I think I'll make my way back towards the group.
Okay.
And when I arrive, I'll ask, has anyone heard of a Lady Mirabelle?
Have I? I mean, her connections are great, so.
Yeah, but they're great, but they're not like globe trotting necessarily. Like you wouldn't just know by name unless they were big enough. And she doesn't strike you as someone that might be big enough to transcend like
Yeah, and she's being,
geography.
and all Clint gave us was a generic title and first name, not
Exactly. If there was if there was of a certain family, you would have had a much better opportunity to learn something.
Do you have
Lady
a
Maribel of Lyon, Barcelona, Madrid.
English, French, German, Prussian?
Interested in humans, elves, other fairies?
Well, her interests are discerning, but I'll just say that she's on this train and she noticed. I don't know if it was my charm, my good looks.
All of the above?
It could be, but if I'm waiting for some sort of clue to jump out and flirt with me, she'd be it.
Where was she heading? Did you get that out of her?
Geneva, where the train's going. She wasn't quite forthcoming with details after that. She just wanted some attention.
Then why are you here?
Hedgehogs, disappearing men. It's a little bit more interesting. I did schedule a nightcap.
Oh, okay. For a moment I thought you had fallen and hit your head.
My head's okay, I feel.
Well, we still have some daylight left. I guess we continue on.
Mm-hmm.
To the luggage car. And we wouldn't want to take too long. Apparently, Signore Smolder has an appointment to keep.
Let's call it an interrogation.
Is that what you're going to call it?
He shrugs.
Americans are so bizarre.
I mean, I've met some people who use that as a form of interrogation. Doesn't always work as well as they think.
I guess it depends on what questions you're looking to have answered.
Mm-hmm.
Says and winks at Isolina. Clint, some of the other things that you would have noticed based on your the card that you played, the napping gentleman. You've seen it before. You saw it on his knuckles and his hand, his what you assume is his dominant hand, based on the calluses that have shown up. You think that he is a gunslinger. You're not sure whether or not it was related to military service, or if he's any good, but he's alive long enough to develop the same kind of callus pattern that seems to happen from someone that likes to draw down.
It'd be very odd to see another gunslinger in this part of the world.
Indeed. Not impossible, but definitely worth noting. You also would have noticed that most of the kids, while they do kind of look you up and down, it's strange that really they're more worried about the dining car. So you don't get near as much attention in here as you did get in the dining car for your appearance and the fact that you are outfitted the way you are. The conductor that you see in this car does not match the one that you saw running through from earlier. You will note that he is clean-shaven, a bit younger, and seems to be very busy with his clipboard, like taking notes on something as you all pass.
I'll mention the gunslinger to the group. Be like, does he seem a little out of place?
Yeah. I'd keep an eye on him.
I don't want to cause a ruckus or anything, but I agree.
And just to clarify, you did not see any signs that he was wearing a gun, though.
Right.
So I didn't purposely leave that out, or I didn't forget to say that. I purposely left that out because it's not there.
Someone who fights with a gun is different. That-
Sometimes you don't know just how different.
No, such things are usually well hidden, and sometimes differences are difficult to discern. But someone who fights with a gun here, I'd expect calluses from a saber. No, Capitan?
Oh, you'd be surprised at how many soldiers fight with guns nowadays.
Mm,
We are entering a new time. I mean,
yeah.
with where we are going.
Yes,
think-
but
Learn a little bit more about what is happening in the battlements.
battles, always battles. Wars are not won on a battlefield.
It will not stop them from having them.
There are cemeteries of dead men in America that differ.
But was the war won on the battlefield or on a back room with a piece of paper signed by 6 or 7 men?
Some would say the results came from one or the other.
I like to think the battlefield serves a purpose.
It does.
Well, if you're done flirting with...
Wow, for once I was not flirting, Isolina.
I don't know, Iselina. When has I ever done flirting?
then maybe we should move on ahead.
I can flirt and walk.
Well, some of us can. Apparently, some of us need to sit down and have a conversation.
There's an art to it.
Esme leans into Isolina and says, I'll show you all of my art later.
Well, some flirting is not bad, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, let us move up. We have a luggage place to go to.
Mm-hmm. The next car along the way is the coach sleeping car for people who have purchased that. It is actually empty. It's a bunch of bunks with foot lockers. Each foot locker is secured to the floor, so it won't slide around during transit, and locked with a key.
Well, it seems they've upped their security.
Clint will look at that lock.
Are we really going to steal from an empty cart?
No, not really.
This isn't about stealing. This is about checking out.
Investigating.
Clint has tinkering and he has the watchmaking tools. Do you think he might be able to pick that lock?
Which one? Each set of bunks has a footlock, or has 2 foot lockers. One for basically each bunk. All of them seem to be closed and locked.
So Clint will look at the group. I might be able to get into 1 or 2, but we should be choosy.
Well, I mean, if you can get into any of these, let's be honest, Signore. No one of interest is going to put anything in these. They're too public and too easily accessible. Now, you could. I'd be entertained.
Oh, that's fair enough. Let's see what else there is.
If we don't find anything in the luggage car, we can always come back.
Agreed.
Plus, I bet there are some very nice items in the first class cabins that you could pick the locks on.
Not too interested in things, to be honest.
Oh, I'm quite sure the Lady Maribel has something for you to pick the lock with.
We'll see.
I don't know if that was flirting or an invitation to steal from someone.
It is something clandestine.
Yeah. I know it's a bit of both.
I'm assuming you're continuing on at this point, yes?
Yeah.
As you make your way through the coach sleeping car, you'll get to the first luggage car. In this car, it's fairly plainly laid out. Just inside the door, there is a stool where someone would be sitting normally. No one is currently there, and you will actually see someone hunched over toward the back in what looks like a conductor's uniform.
Does it look like he's bending over to look at something or like he's been knocked over?
From this angle, you're not 100% sure. You would, but he doesn't look limp, so you're guessing that he is looking for something or looking through something.
See, this is what I was concerned about. And she's going to walk in loudly and say, Signore, I have some questions about the security of my luggage based on these rodents that were running around.
You will see him startle and look up and look around and see you and kind of straighten out his uniform. And holding in his hand, he's holding a top hat. And there are like 4 or 5 hedgehogs poking out of the top hat. And they start to scramble out of the top hat as he kind of drops it towards you all and then leaves to the other car.
The conductor leaves or the hedgehogs leave?
Conductor leaves.
Oh, no.
Hey, wait up.
That's a good trick.
Is this the only conductor we've seen?
No, there was one in the coach car that you remember coming in to help scoop up the hedgehogs. There was an older one that you haven't seen.
Yeah.
Well, no, that you saw going back past you all when you were in the bar car, going back toward the front of the train. That was the one that had the kid and was chastising the kid.
Yeah.
And then this is a third conductor that you haven't seen before. That might be the one that's stationed here that the conductor was referring to, the older one was referring to. But actually at this moment, you'll notice that there's like over a dozen hedgehogs running your direction now. They keep coming out of the top hat.
Signore, she's going to close the car door behind her.
Okay.
Somebody want to get the hat that's apparently magical and is releasing untold numbers of hedgehogs, or do you want to chase after the gentleman who doesn't look familiar to me and therefore is probably not supposed to be here?
I'll chase the gentleman, and I'll take off running.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do with a hat. You want me to throw it overboard?
I don't know. I don't... I mean, like...
The hat.
It's not the hat. That many things do not physically fit in there, and therefore it is magical of some sort. And she's gonna walk over and like awkwardly.
I will walk over and I will not awkward. I'm just gonna pick it up.
Okay. Are you going to work very carefully to not step on any hedgehogs.
Yes. How dare you think I would step on a hedgehog?
Okay. So you're going to take your time to make sure that you don't accidentally squish a hedgehog. Yes?
Yes.
Running von Brunt.
Yep.
Are you worried about hedgehogs underfoot?
So I am a lithe person with a great physique. So I would like to use this great physique to avoid stepping, or athletics, to avoid stepping on any hedgehogs while not slowing my pace down.
Okay. Athletics would be the one that would apply here.
All right.
So
my athletics is good.
Okay.
So that's what, 6?
Yep.
So I'll play
clubs.
Yeah, I'll play a 5 of clubs.
Okay.
For 11.
You successfully are able to take off running toward the end of the car with very minimal slowing down from the now 24 hedgehogs that have spilled out of the top hat in this amount of time.
This is getting hilarious and crazy.
It certainly is.
You make it to the door at the far end, and it is locked.
Oh, dang it. And I'll pound on the door.
Okay.
Clint?
Oh, a little busy with some spouting hedgehogs. One second. And Clint will slowly make his way across the cargo container.
Okay.
So he'll take his time to get over there.
Okay. As you make your way and take your time making your way over there, Isolina has collected the hat and stemmed the flow of hedgehogs into the car. There are now about 27 hedgehogs that you can see running around the floor of the luggage car.
This is a lot.
Oh.
But did I get the door?
I am now the Contessa Lucretia Sofia Viravante.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm switching the cameras over.
Okay. You know, I'm special that way. But did I got the door closed between the cars, right?
Yes.
So
yes, they are not exiting the car. They are milling about in the luggage car.
What suit is sorcery again? Hearts?
Diamonds.
Diamonds for mental. Yes.
Okay, well, the Contessa knows a little bit about magic now because she's
interrogated Oberon.
Yeah, extensively. There was extensive interrogation involved.
Nowadays?
Interrogation, picking his mind, pillow talk, same thing. All the same. So her sorcery is good, and I'm going to play a card to see if I understand what the heck this hat does.
Okay, so it's actually going to be more than just sorcery from what you're seeing. What this reminds you of is two things. One, the same kind of random emanations that were pouring out of the portal at the abandoned manor from a few months ago. So you feel like probably somewhere trapped inside this item is a portal to another place. You're not sure where it is. Like, is there really a land of hedgehogs? And if there is, like, what does it look like? And why do they have a portal to this plane? But that's the biggest thing that you can see, that the two factors. One, this item seems to be holding a magical presence or magical effect, and that effect seems to be a portal to another place.
Does she see anything on, like, in the hat, around the hat, through the hat that could close this portal? Like, because she knows that Oberon talked about the runes that were on for the arch and the portal, and she knows that you could cut them and break them and therefore close the portal.
You do actually notice them along the hat band. They are black on black, which is one of your favorite motifs. So it makes it a little easier for you to notice compared to some others. And they just shimmer just right in the light as you're kind of inspecting it and looking at it. And they are active.
So, okay. Signore Smolder and Isolina, do you mind if I break this so we don't have a giant portal to Hedgehog Land, keep dumping hedgehogs all over the place?
Should we put the hedgehogs on the ground do you think it works both ways?
Well, there's only... here, put one in here and push it down.
I will pick up one from the ground gently and plop it into the hat.
It falls into the hat and it sits there for a second and looks at you and then disappears. Just fades away.
Okay. So let's put as many of them in the hat. I'll hold it. The rest, or here, Signore Clint, you can hold it if you want.
So Clint is making his way towards the end of the car where the locked door is.
Oh, okay.
Esme will hold the hat.
Okay. Well, no, she'll hold the hat and let Esme and Isolina put the hedgehogs in.
Okay.
As many of them as we can. And then
while we wait for the guys to unlock the door.
Fair enough.
She'll pull the pin from the back of her hair and let it fall and use the pin to cut the hat band.
Okay. Once you've completed putting hedgehogs in the hat.
Exactly.
Okay. So we will hold that last action that you described until after we reach that point in the timeline, in case you do want to shift actions prior to that. Fair enough? As they begin doing that, and more of the hedgehogs are starting to be sent home, or what you assume is home, the number of hedgehogs in the car is dwindling one at a time, and they start squeaking, particularly more loudly from one section of the car than the rest, and the ones on the floor seem to be congregating over in that area. At the door, Clint, you make it there, and you plan on tinkering, correct?
Yeah. Captain, you need help?
Yeah, they locked the door behind them.
All right, I'll see what I can do. And yeah, I'll use tinkering with some of my watch tools to try to jimmy the door.
Excellent.
Are quite agile with your fingers.
Some would say nimble.
With that and the watch tools, we will call that, and what's tinkering at again? Did you say great or good?
Good.
Good. So that's 6, 21. We'll call that a 24. You very carefully work the lock and open it. It takes a minute, but not because you're fumbling with it, but because it is quite a complex machination. Impressive in some ways to you, due to its intricacy. You actually have to flip a number of tumblers. There's first 9, and then there's another set that becomes available of 6 that you have to then readjust in order to open the lock itself.
It's definitely something they want to keep secure back here. And I'll look up at the captain and say, "You ready for this?"
Oh, I was born ready.
And Clint will open the door.
As you open the door to exit and move on to the next car, you will find the next door is locked, and we'll keep that same one. And it's the same kind of lock. And it'll take you just a minute, and then you'll be able to open the door and go again. You're more than welcome to give your little speech again if you'd like as well.
I'll just say, now, if you want to pay attention, you can see my hands at work again.
Oh, I would
Excellent.
love to see your hands at work.
I thought you might.
The camera's got all wonky again.
Oh,
We lost Deidre.
We lost Deirdre. Yeah. Would you mind going on break right
yes, perfect time for going on break.
now? And we'll come back when Deirdre comes back.
Excellent.
Oh, well, she's back, but we're going on break.
That's good. Sorry.
Perfect timing.
All right, so we'll see you in a couple minutes, everyone. Hello, we're back. By the way, this stream is sponsored by Mage and Press. Mage and Press, the makers of Dark Matter and other books such as Taverns and Tankards. If you want to get their products, you can go on store.mageandpress.com and use coupon code WanderingDM for 15% off of everything. If you want to look and see what Dark Matter is all about, you can tune in here at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays where we play Dark Matter. And now back to our scheduled game.
Excellent. So, where we left off, Clint and Captain Von Brandt were opening the door to the second luggage car. Isolina and Esme were picking up hedgehogs and putting them in the top hat that doubles as a portal to what we are lovingly referring to as the Land of Hedgehogs. And we're going to start in the merry Land of Hedgehogs. What do the three of you find? Or what do you do when you hear the squealing, I should say? Do you attention?
Approach?
Okay.
Yep.
You will find that they are all around a crate of some sort. And there's squeaking coming from both outside and inside of the box.
So more hedgehogs in the crate?
See, Contessa, you would recognize this as the... Actually, both of you, or all of you would recognize this as the crate that they were trying to scoop them up into when they were trying to collect the hedgehogs.
Oh, I knock on it. Like, which way is it? Is it just closed completely?
It's just like a standard shipping crate. So wooden sides, slats between them. You can actually see, if you look a little closely, there are hedgehogs inside squirming about. The top hasn't been nailed shut. They've just set some sort of bag on top of it that seems to be heavy, just like a rucksack of some sort.
Well, I'll take the rucksack off and we can put more hedgehogs in the hat.
Okay.
Yes.
And I still have my pin out of my hair, prepared for almost anything.
Okay. So you remove the rucksack. There's nothing unique about it, and open it up, and there are the hedgehogs from earlier. Arsenio and Marcelo start squeaking in unison with all of the others.
Huh. Interesting. Well, I guess can
The hat?
yeah. Can we like tip the crate a little bit and like tip the hat a little bit so like they can scurry down in?
Try and like pour them in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean gently, or at least like scoot them forward.
If you and Esme like lift the crate and kind of turn it on its corner, I can have the hat underneath it and kind of catch them that way.
Okay. Do you have a club that you'd want to play to help kind of time everything?
I thought you were going to say a club to hit them with.
Yeah.
No.
Like how dare you? They are not rodents.
Seals or baby hedgehogs.
No. I mean, I don't have any clubs. I can play a card just to play a card, but I don't have any clubs.
I mean, I have a club.
Just wondering if you wanted to enhance your physical
I mean, if you're
prowess.
gonna ask me, that means that something's gonna go wrong.
And we're working together, so...
Yep. Okay. So that is more than enough for you to deftly and adequately pour the hedgehogs into the hat without overfilling it or anything of that nature, or dropping the crate on top of other hedgehogs or anything of that nature. So it takes a little while for you to get all of that cleaned up, along with the other ones that are still on the floor. But you get them all put away, back to whence they came, down to 2.
Would those two be Arsenio and Marcelo?
Those are the
assuming so.
last two.
Well, I will look at Arsenio and I'll say, would you like to go back with your friends or would you like to stay here with us? It is your choice. And I'll like put him close to the hat so he can jump in if he wants. They want. I don't know how to sex a hedgehog, so I don't know
Fair enough.
what gender they are. But like I won't like scoop him in or anything. I'll make it their choice.
Okay. Arsenio turns back to you, looks at you, smiles and squeaks, but does not jump into the hat.
Okay. And I will like scratch the bridge of his nose again. And I'll look at Desmond and I'll say, let's see if Marcelo would like to return or if he wants to stay.
Marcelo, when he gets close to the hat, looks in the hat, looks over at Arsenio, looks back at both of you, and curls up in the palm of Esme's hand.
Duh. Okay, well, I think that is that. You can do what you will with the hat now.
Alrighty. Did the captain and did Captain von Brandt and our dear Signore Smolberg get through the door, or are they still at the door?
At this point, they are through both doors. Both doors have closed behind them as to not let errant hedgehogs jump out onto the tracks. And they're out of sight.
All right. Well, she'll take the pin and very carefully holding the hat kind of away from her, use the pin to cut the hat band where she can see the sigils.
You have fencing at good, correct?
I have fencing at average.
Okay, that's average.
But I can blow a card if it helps.
Either fencing or sorcery.
And sorcery is diamonds, right?
Yeah, diamonds. Fencing will speed up the process. Sorcery will ensure that it is...
Yeah, her sorcery is good, so she'll
safer.
play the 6.
Okay.
She's more worried about safer than speed.
So it takes a little while for you to actually carefully use the pin to cut the hat band. You know that you should probably break at least one of the runes when you cut the hat band rather than cut it elsewhere. So
that's what she's trying to do.
Very gently and delicately work it through one of the runes. There's some weird sparks of light that happen. Esme, you think, also notices them, but Isolina does. You do not see anything happen. The two of them seem to be very intently watching the hat band, but I mean, you're just patiently watching.
All right. That worked.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll kind of flip the hat over after she's taken the hat band off of it and kind of shake it to make sure that no thing falls out.
Nothing falls out.
Okay. But she keeps the hat band and she kind of tucks it in her pocket.
Okay. And the top hat?
She'll put her hair back up and then put the top hat on as a jaunty angle and put the pin through the side of her hair.
Okay.
For right now.
That works.
I mean, it doesn't really fit, does it?
If you, like when you put your hair up, if you kind of like give it some volume, it sets okay.
Yeah. She's kind of just going to have it sitting at an angle intentionally.
And that actually, by putting it up like that, it kind of holds on to the part that's been wrapped or in makeshift bun, and sits there nicely. All right. And then I'm guessing the rest of your goal is to catch up with the other two?
Oh, yes. At the best possible speed.
Isolina, the same?
Yep.
So we will cut to the two dashing gentlefolk. You get into the other car. As you come through the doors, you see the same kinds of shelves and things scattered across them as you normally would. Nothing out of sort, nothing different that you find from before. But it only lasts for about a third of the amount of space in the car. And after that, it's empty, except for in the center, there is like a, I don't know, metal room. It's windowless. You don't see a door from this angle.
Have I seen this somewhere?
I'm trying to think if you would have. Have you ever, has Captain Von Brunt ever served on transport trains that carry things of high import?
No, I don't think so.
Then no, you wouldn't have seen it before.
Okay.
Pretty sure Clint has, though, in America.
Then this is very similar, not the same make and style, but you will note that if they want just security for something that's being transported, they lock it down in an empty car and surround it by soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
If they want something of extra importance but don't want to draw attention to the fact that it exists, they lock it within a room within a train that's headed somewhere nondescript. This is what that is. A locked room within a train.
Clint whistles. It's been a while since I've seen something like that.
What do you make of it? Is it a safe? Looks like a safe.
They want to keep something away from prying eyes and not draw attention.
Well, in any case, it looks like our conductor went through here, so we might as well take a quick peek.
If you want to go up there and take a quick peek, that's fine. I want to keep an eye out for our shifty conductor.
Okay. How do you position yourself to keep an eye out for the shifty conductor?
I'll have my back to the captain.
Okay. So you're going to be facing the opposite direction of so toward the front of the train? If he's going to move toward the back of this car?
So like when we're heading towards the back of the car, we don't see any doors.
Don't see any doors on it. So you're assuming that if there's from what you know, the door is from this angle that you're at, it's either hidden or on the back of the opposite side of where you're standing.
Okay. So Clint will approach with the captain and then probably post in the walkway.
On the right side or the left side?
Oh, it's in the middle?
It's smack in the middle.
Oh, okay.
It's like Hannibal Lecter smack in the middle.
For pity's sake. All right. So in that case, Clint will make it all the way to the back and then, keep the cabin to his back while facing the back of the car.
Okay. So are you going to go opposite directions then, Captain and Clint?
Yeah, I think I will.
Okay. So one of you will go right, the other go left as you circle around it very carefully. both of you with a different level of martial prestige and prowess. As you make your way around, you'll notice that the door has actually fallen in to the room. And not all of it. It's still on its hinges technically, but the center of it has been cut away, burned away, and has fallen into the room itself. Inside, you see a number of lock boxes, one of which has been opened. It is a nondescript lockbox. They all look identical. Captain Von Brent, do you go inside?
Mm-hmm.
The open lockbox is on the left hand, like in the back left corner. It's long, longer than some of the others, like wider than some of the others, and not as deep. And as you kind of look inside, you notice that left behind are a couple of things. One is a like piece of velvet, crushed velvet. The other is a tiny, well, not tiny, but a small piece of paper. It's folded over on itself.
Okay, I'll pick that up.
Okay.
And is there anything else before I unfold the paper and look at its content?
Nothing else seems to be disturbed.
And how big was this footlocker again?
I'd say just shy of 2 feet wide and about 8 inches deep, and another 8 inches tall.
Okay. All right.
Flat lid, not a curved lid.
Okay, so the content would fit neatly inside of it.
Mm-hmm. And apparently it was wrapped in crushed velvet.
And crushed velvet.
While you're pondering that, Clint, you're keeping an eye out.
Correct.
You've had a different action since the last time that you were being perceptive.
Clint's going to be much less perceptive this time.
Okay. As you are keeping an eye out, you will notice, for the briefest of seconds, movement out the back door. Scurrying up.
Damn, there he goes. And by scurry, you mean a human scurry?
Yes. Very quickly moving up the ladder of the caboose.
Captain, are you good in there?
Yeah, why?
Someone's on top of the train. We got to get out of here if we're going to catch him.
All right, I'll pocket the paper. I'll look at it later.
Okay.
And Clint's gonna book it towards the back.
All right. It's not that far from the back door, honestly. It's closer than it was to the front of the car. As you guys make it to the back, the door is not locked this time. It opens. And you will find yourselves between two cars with a ladder. Are you going up the roof?
Clint is.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's your base athletics?
My athletics is average. My physique is great.
Okay. Do you want to add anything to your athletics to scale a moving train car?
Clubs?
Yes.
Clubs, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Von Brent, same question.
My athletics is good, and I'll just burn a card for it.
Okay. So, Clint, you'll quickly move up, closely followed by the captain, who is behind you anyway. As you get up on the roof of the train, Von Brunt, takes you a little second to get your footing because it is moving. You're used to being inside moving things rather than on top of them.
Well,
okay, both. Vehicles. Inside moving vehicles rather than on top of them. Is that more accurate, more apt?
Yep.
And you'll see going across the final car, a figure looks like the conductor, well, who you thought was the conductor, and they spin around to greet you as they get to the end of the line. You'll notice they are no longer wearing the conductor's uniform.
Clint will draw their 6-shooter.
Okay.
You seem to be going somewhere really quick for being a employee of this train.
The character smirks, and it's then, as they kind of smirk and draw attention to that part of their face, you'll notice they have a cleft chin.
Well, shoot him. Or do you want me to tackle him?
Von Brent, are you going to do anything at this point? Clint has the drop on him, clearly.
How far away is he?
Opposite end of a train car, so however long that would be.
30 feet? 60 feet?
So, yeah, 30-ish feet, I think. I did not get out those measurements. I should, though.
I'll shoot him in the leg.
Okay. Oh, nice. Standard train car is 60 feet for a box car for the exterior length. Ish. Okay, excellent. You shoot true as he pulls a gun and fires in return.
Ooh.
I would charge at the man.
Okay.
You still have my hairpin.
That's true. I still have the hairpin. But I want to tackle him because I don't want to kill him, and I don't want him to jump off the train or run away.
Okay.
And if anything, I'll be able to grapple him and hold him still while Clint fires another shot or something.
Okay.
It's my intent anyway.
Are you going to play any cards?
Tackling someone, would that be fisticuffs or athletics?
Athletics.
Alright, so that's club. Well, I'm gonna burn this.
Okay.
So I just have a good +1. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna burn my +2. My deuce is wild.
Okay.
To get a +3. Total.
Okay. You knock straight into him, and you'll notice he kind of buckles on the leg where Clint shot him, but spins around awkwardly and falls.
Like off the train?
Off the train.
Can I try to grab onto him?
Sure.
And while Clint is watching this, he'll scramble over to try to help.
Okay. As you reach for him, you'll notice that he grabs at himself. He's holding on to something. And he grabs at himself, and his clothes open, and the air catches him, and it shoots him backwards away from the train. Do you want to continue to grab for him, or do you want to try and grab for what he's holding?
Oh, because he's gonna... I'm gonna grab for what he's holding.
You need one more card, though. Let me make sure you get that card, in case it's of the suit that you want. I will let you play another card if you'd like, to try and snatch from his hand what he stole.
It's gonna be just burning a card.
Okay.
I don't have any clubs.
What's your base athletics?
Base athletics is good.
Okay. Do you have any other skills that would help with trying to tear something from someone?
I am fairly courageous and not
Okay.
afraid of danger. So I think I would actually throw myself at him, hoping that Clint catches my legs, to give myself a bit more leeway and a bit more room to grab at the thing properly, even if it means that, half my body is over the car.
Okay. Do you have a heart instead?
Well, I mean, I have one, but as a card...
You're welcome to play that, and we'll take that instead of the 8.
Okay, we'll take the King of Heart.
Excellent. Now, Clint, you see your new compatriot that you've gotten to know leap towards the person, and you said you were scrambling over to help.
Yeah. I will bank on the captain waiting for me as backup, so I will instinctively reach out and try to grab the captain. I'm gonna have to use a +2 and burn a card.
Okay. Excellent. And what skill do you want to apply? Is there anything in particular that you think would help you in this case, other than athletics?
That's honestly the only thing I have that is not. Yeah, the only thing that I have would be physique, but I don't have a club.
Okay. Well, we'll use your base physique then instead. Okay. Being that it's about being strong enough, not only to grab him, but strong enough to hold on to him and pull him back.
Okay.
So, and together, what transpires is 2 shots rang out. So if we kind of rewind a second as all of this happens in slow motion to see it in full speed now. Clint pops up first onto the top of the train. The gentleman starts to turn around. Von Brandt gets up, steadies himself. As Clint draws down, there's the smirk. Shots rang out. Both feel a sting, a burn. Von Brandt charges. The man buckles and spins and falls, releasing some sort of contraption that allows the wind to catch him and launch him up into the air and away from the train. Von Brandt lurches forward with both hands, grasping at what the thief has clutched and cradled in his arms. As he extends himself, Clint rushes up behind and grabs at Von Brandt around the waist and pulls him back in. The two of them collapsing on the roof of the train. You have a statue in your possession, Captain. Are you a religious man?
I'm an elf, and I'm pretty sure half of what I do is considered sacrilege.
You do not recognize the statue, but you think it has religious significance.
You know, if you wanted to tumble, you could have just asked.
Well, it's no fun if I don't make you work for it.
Oh, boy, did I have to work. What do you have there?
A piece of rock. Looks like a statue to me. I don't know of who.
Would Clint recognize it at all?
Possibly. Do you have... What skill would you like to apply to... There's a chance. It's familiar. Don't need a high card, but
What would
application of a skill.
What would education be?
Education would be diamonds.
Poop. I mean, I'll burn a card for that, but
Okay. It reminds you of a Catholic saint. One of the motif that's there, you think it's one of them that's related to animals, and maybe the poor. You're not 100% sure, but definitely a Catholic saint.
Shit, animals and the poor.
oh, first hedgehogs, now this. I don't know enough about this to be sure of anything, but I am sure I got bit by one of them bullets.
Yes, you got grazed across your ribs, just below your on the same side as your dominant shooting hand.
Okay.
Oh, are you bleeding?
With the graze, probably a little bit, but not much. It burns more than anything.
Well, do you need me to bandage it or something?
Well, let's get off of this roof first, and then we can tend to it.
But then again, the view's kind of good on the roof, won't you say?
Clint looks around.
There's probably a shit ton of smoke from the main car.
It's a really long train. Actually, it's not that bad.
Okay. It's like, the view is kind of...
You're at the very tail end of a train that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 17 cars.
Huh.
Oh yeah, then we're totally fine. We're in the clear.
Yeah.
I could take a moment.
While you take a moment, back inside, the two of you, or the three of you, Esme, Selena, and the Contessa, make your way into the second car. You'll notice that the first third is pretty similar to what you saw before with baggage and things around, but the back 2/3 only contains a metal room in the center of it. There are no windows or doors on the side facing you. as you guys walked in and start to make your way toward the back, you will have heard and noticed movement and the door at the back opening and closing.
Then do we hear the gunshots on the roof?
Then you hear the gunshots on the roof.
No screaming. You think they're still alive?
I would hope so. I mean, 2 against 1.
Well, she'll see. Well, they have a giant safe. Should we see what they're... You know, I don't feel like climbing on the roof of a train car in this dress. I mean, it's a gorgeous dress, but not what that's designed for.
Not very aerodynamic. I feel like I would just get caught in the wind. So I think we're just waiting down here. It feels fine.
She's going to take the hat off and pull the pin out and just kind of use it to kind of poke the roof.
Okay.
I'm just going to drink some wine.
I've lost my drink, but, you know, I can find another one.
You poke the roof, clings against it a little bit. No response. As you circle around to the safe, you'll notice that the inside of the door has been cut out, burned out. Well, at least burned a line across it, and then it's fallen inside. All of the lock boxes are perfectly left intact, except for one that's open. They're all nondescript. Some of their sizes vary. The open one, as I described before, is about 2 feet in length, and then about 8 inches by 8 inches, 8 inches deep by 8 inches tall.
Well, they got exactly what they wanted, and then they left.
It's pretty nifty. They just burned right through it. I wonder what is so important. Though I am still a little upset that it was a robbery. How boring.
We'll notice underneath the door.
A hostage.
No. The remains of the uniform.
So it fell in? So the uniform was on the inside?
Somehow the uniform ended up underneath the door, yes.
Huh. That is very interesting. But there's no, like, squished human under the door, right?
Correct.
Okay. Or humanoid.
Correct.
And no hostages, just to be totally clear here.
And no hostages that you can find at this moment.
There's still hope.
I mean, other than the hedgehogs that had to be sent home and freed. So in a way, you freed hedgehogs from another dimension that were hostages.
It was a robbery. I go back to my point, and she's going to turn to Isolina, and she's just kind of like keep like poking this, like ratting on the ceiling occasionally, just kind of like, come on down. And she'd be like, I go back to my point. Obviously, they're criminals, not people who want power.
That is so boring. I mean, like, what is it just for fun? Is it a hobby, you think? They're just like, oh, this thing is of value. Let's just go rob it and sell it. And then let's just continue doing that over and over again.
I mean, the Lord Marcos was in, what was the, someone involved in that whole thing was part of the World Crime League. Oh, the one that the priest went after, you know, who wanted the immortality. At least.
Oh, right. Yeah, right.
You know?
Like, that's initiative there, at least.
Yeah, but he wanted immortality. And I mean, he's killing lots of people to get that immortality, but I don't see anything about power and control or, you know, world domination even.
I mean, there are so many ways to do, especially with the war coming on. Like, there's some, I do not understand. Criminals. This is a petty crime. Like, be more creative, be better. Do better.
I can give them points for execution, but only a few.
I know, I am interested to know how this person, whatever it may be, got an entire suit just stuck under this door?
Yeah. I'm also interested in how he got out of the suit that he was in without... Maybe he just deflates?
Maybe.
Like a piece of paper, and then he moves under and pops up? I don't know.
An interesting trick, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Again, only used for stealing things. Like, these criminals could do so much more with their lives. So much better other crimes they could be doing.
World domination? I don't see... See?
It's uninspired, I agree.
And in the meantime, Clint is bleeding.
We are tapping on the
On the
roof, telling
roof.
you to come down. We're just waiting for you now.
But they're not on the roof of that car.
Well, you know.
We didn't know that.
No, you didn't know that. I'm just saying.
That's a that sounds like a personal problem. We're doing
Alright,
what we can.
wait. We saw them... This is the end of the car, and we saw the door open, and they climbed up, right?
They climbed up the caboose, which is the next
Oh, so we... Oh, well, in that case, if I saw them do that, she would actually go to the door and open it and, like, yell, "Are you still alive? And do you require medical attention from someone other than me?
Or me, I do not know how to heal people.
I can tell you how you hurt yourself, but
I
didn't
could not.
do
I can tell
well."
you what part you hurt yourself.
Yeah.
I think Clint, if Clint hears it over everything that's going on, would yell back, Captain's giving me some pretty good attention.
Just don't fall off.
Well, the other guy almost did,
That's definitely adventurous.
but we were successful.
Oh, you managed to make sure that he didn't finish the robbery. See? And she's going to turn back to Isolina and go, see? This is what I'm talking about. They can't be that great.
I mean, just an amateur American. And I guess the French Legion, that's a little bit more impressive.
Ouch.
And he does...
Hurt more than the graze, more than the bullet.
I'm feeling stings.
I mean, the Capitan is at least enough, so, you know, he may have learned something in a few of his years.
Exactly. And but this world crime, I mean, you'd think they'd send somebody a little bit more professional. And not just somebody with a fun gadget. If it is a gadget. Or magic.
Are you guys coming down anytime soon, or are you...
Wait, I had something for this and then it escaped me. Something about...
Are you done with your rendezvous, or can we move on?
Yeah, sure. I lost it, but something about not hearing the word down at the end of the sentence or what have you.
I figure if you... Never mind.
I think so. You'll see Clint kind of the hat poke over, and then you'll see the statue kind of coming down between the cars.
Yeah, just
Can you
how big is that statue actually?
About the size of the box.
Yeah, okay.
So, does the Contessa recognize it?
Yes, the Contessa would recognize it.
Can I guess that it's St. Francis of Assisi?
It is absolutely St. Francis of Assisi.
I knew I should have known that.
What's Clint's base charisma?
Clint's base charisma is good.
Good? Okay.
Should Clint play a card?
Does Clint want to play a card?
Clint wants to be charming right now, I think.
Okay. Clint feels really good. As in, Clint doesn't feel wounded anymore.
Ah.
As Clint touches the statue and passes it down.
Is that a statue?
Yes, St. Francis.
It's something. It might be something else, too. given the thing that was trying to run away with it.
I mean,
You coming, Captain?
oh yeah, I've heard
Or-
about
Maybe
touching
already.
a little man and feeling better afterwards, but never thought I'd see it that way.
Well, St. Francis is a healer and a benefactor of the lost and forlorn.
But that statue would be magical.
There's lots of magic in faith. What do you call a miracle, signore?
Huh. I'll turn to Clint. Well, you're now the target of a miracle, I guess.
It's a miracle I'm alive every day. And Clint kind of pulls himself down into between the cars.
Are both your hat and glasses still on after this entire altercation?
Clint's that good.
In which case, the Contessa would say, well, obviously you didn't have as much fun as I expected if your hat's still on.
Clint will doff his hat.
It's actually pretty impressive. Huh. You have to let me know what kind of pins and things you use on it, because that is quite
No pins.
impressive.
You just gotta move your head with the tilt.
Can
not-
we
I'm
have
just
this
gonna-
conversation inside?
I mean, I
Should-
am inside. I mean,
Yeah.
come on
shoot.
down.
So, what happened with the hedgehogs?
Well, she's got the hat. She takes the hat. We put them back through the portal, and then I broke it. As she shows the hat band.
Yes, you've returned them to the land of the hedgehogs.
I'm assuming that it said, I just know that the glyphs make a portal, and then if you break the glyphs, the portal goes away.
I've seen that before.
Yeah, a couple times now, actually.
Can I take
Does
a look
the-
at those glyphs?
Oh, here.
Chris,
She was,
Yes,
are they written in Sealy?
they are not.
Well,
Are
this
they
is
written-
rubbish.
Are they written in Unseelie?
They are not.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's not anyone that I recognized, but
Nothing I can't read either.
do you recognize it, Signore Smolder?
Can I play a card for sorcery?
Sure.
Because, I was brought up by the Masons.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I was going to save that thing for later, but who knows?
You do recognize it. You recognize those runes as well. They're arcane. You're not sure what lodge, but you know what they do. They open portals to other places. In your past, you've even traveled by some of them when you've been trying to escape. It's not the Masons that showed it to you. In fact, it's some of the people that helped you avoid those that you wish to not deal with anymore.
So, okay. Are they my current benefactor?
You don't believe so. Like I said, they don't really have lodge, like a
It's not
lodge mark to it.
specific. Yeah.
They should be able to use that same magic, but the level of precision to it is equal to what you had seen in more permanent fixtures that are usually like that level of detail and power put into it is usually for a permanent fixture, not for something that could be cut apart like a headband or a hatband.
And trivial.
Yeah. Or seemingly so.
Clint would say, well, that's very interesting. This doesn't belong here.
Definitely not.
But given what I've seen, I don't. The people who would make these wouldn't make this.
Um,
The
Chris.
people? Sorry, go ahead.
No.
I was just gonna say the people who made this.
The kinds of people I know who can do this sort of thing, they wouldn't invest their time in something as easily broken as fabric.
Yeah, the mage that I know wouldn't have done that either. It seems frivolous and
Well,
purely as a distraction.
exactly. It's definitely intended for a distraction. And if they were trying to get away with that statue, there's something else going on.
It's intriguing that the statue was traveling on this train at all.
Well, I think our next mystery is who owns it.
And why it isn't in the care of the church. She would walk back into that safe and look specifically for any signs of anything from any signs of the church, any signs of the Vatican, or like Swiss guard symbols, anything like that.
Everything is equally nondescript on all of the lock boxes. Do you inspect the one that's open?
Yeah.
So you find the crushed velvet that Captain Von Brandt had been holding. It is of a very specific shade of purple.
Like a certain imperial kind of shade of purple.
More of a certain
Papal.
Mm-hmm.
And she'd look at that very startled, and it's obvious on her face. It's like, this isn't right. There's something off here.
What sort are you thinking, Contessa?
Well, as far as I know, something like this. And do you still have the statue?
I thought I had handed it over.
Okay, she would very carefully put the statue almost reverently back in the
Wrap it in the velvet.
Wrap it in the velvet and put it back in the box. Well, the
lock is broken.
Mm-hmm.
It's burned the same way the door was. The box is perfectly fine and intact. So you can close the lid even. You just can't relock it.
She's just gonna set it there for right now.
Okay.
Was there anything else when you guys found this? Because it's very odd that... I mean...
I wasn't in there. I was watching out for the conductor.
Yeah, I found this, and I'll get the piece of paper out and I'll start unfolding it.
Okay. On it, you find a simple prayer. Again, like the other, it looks personal, not formal. To Saint Michael.
A prayer to Saint Joseph, a prayer to Saint Michael, and the statue of Saint Francis of Assisi. What invocation of Saint Michael is it?
It is in
Saint Michael the Defender, Saint Michael the Protector of Soldiers, Saint Michael the patron saint of the Vatican.
The last one.
Yeah.
The prayer specifically is beseeching Saint Michael to help God's will be done.
And the Contessa's very you would all see this. Her face is very drops. All of the like pleasant social flirting, all of the pleasant social attitude that she's had, it just kind of becomes stone cold and professional. And she says, I can't think of a reason why anything that belongs to the Vatican would currently be on this train in this manner. If it was being sent to out of Italy, particularly as it advances towards a territory that desires the control of, well, everything south.
Perhaps I almost switched into French. Perhaps it's a message or a call to action.
It might be proof that they have somebody, a spy, an inside man.
I worry about its safety here, though.
I very much do too.
Looking at the size of the statue and the size of the suitcase or briefcase that came with the man who disappeared, would it fit in there?
No, it would not have fit in there.
Okay.
You are pretty sure, based on the amount of cloth that expanded when the air caught the parachute mechanism, that was probably what was in the briefcase.
One of you has a room, right?
Oh, I have plenty of room. We're going to take this into mine. I have many questions about why this is on the same train as I am.
But this is just a statue. What's your connection to it?
I'm the Contessa Lucrezia Sofia Fioravanti, and my late husband was the Conte di Siracusa. I am very familiar about what goes on in Rome. Well, a lot of places in Italy.
Oh. Well, then to your quarters we go.
Yes. And her face kind of changes and shifts, and it'll be a party. I haven't had this much fun since Paris.
Wow, she just completely glossed over Oberon. Thanks.
Oberon was fun. Paris, I'm having 2 gentlemen join me for the evening. Or if you want to get particular, I mean, Oberon was definitely more fun than the Duke.
And on the note of Simon's ego being crushed, we will conclude this
again.
Thank you all for coming and enjoying the mayhem that is Hedgehogs on a Train. I mean, Adventures in Castle Falkenstein. I am Chris Geary. I am your host. You can find me at Chris Geary on Twitter. Usually Simon has me go first, so I figured I'd get it out of the way. You can find me here every Friday night, but not next Friday. And that's because myself and Simon will be at Gen Con. So no game next Friday. So in 2 weeks, come find us again for more Adventures in Castle Falkenstein, and take it away, Simon.
Well, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you all for hanging out in chat. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for those of you lurking. Thank you to those of you watching the VOD on YouTube. You are what keeps us going. I am Simon at Wandering DM. Just like Chris said, there won't be any streams next week except for Monday on Role Players. Because starting on Tuesday, I will be making my way to Gen Con. and so we won't be streaming pretty much all of next week. Before we leave, let's just go around the table. Tell us who you are, where we can find you on the internet. I will start with PB.
Hi, I'm PB from PB Plays Inside. I will not be going to Gen Con, so my next week is going to be about the same. On Monday, hopefully, I will be over on the Greyhawk channel playing some The Grove Where We Met, where we are just trying our absolute best. Let's just leave it at that. And on Tuesday, I am streaming. Right now, I'm going through Dragon Age Origins. We're back. I just entered the Brazilian Forest for the first time. It's the one part of the game. I think we're entering the part of the game that I've never played before, in an effort to finally finish it and get on with the other games. So I'm going to be speeding through that. I'm trying some earlier times for my European friends, in order for them to watch the stream. So I'm going to be pulling it back little by little. So this next stream on Tuesday will be at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time rather than the normal 6. And on Thursday, I will either do it at 4 or 5. Keep updated over on Twitter at PB Plays Inside. And tomorrow I will be over on Experience Points at some ungodly hour. What what is it, like 1 p.m., 12 noon time? I don't. I have to wake up early, and it's just from my life, it's early. 1 p.m. I have to wake up at 11, but it's whatever. I will be over there playing some crazy Starfinder games, our Starfinder game, in which we are trying our best and having a lot of fun while doing it. So that is my schedule for the upcoming week, and everyone who's going to Gen Con, have fun.
Thank you. Sorry, there's a cat that needed to, for some reason, go inside my closet. Contessa, Deirdre.
Hey all, you know me. I'm at Deirdre Dunlin on Twitter, or Praxgorth as Meophoria, as you see me hanging out in the Twitch chat. And tomorrow I will be here running some Vampire the Masquerade as we continue our descent into the darkness of New York. Because that city is full of darkness. But fun. And then you will find me on Monday over on Role Players. But other than that, check my Twitter, because I will not be going into Gen Con, but I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff this month, so things get complicated.
All right, and last but certainly not least, Kenny. I was going to call you Clint.
If only. Yes, my name is Kenny. You can find me on Twitter at Punderdrone. I play here on Fridays. Will not be playing here next Friday. Tomorrow on the Experience Points Twitch channel, we are playing Starfinder, where I am DMing our amazing crew of people through Dawn of Flame Adventure Path. They just took out or got a cryptic message, and we're going to figure out what that all means. If you miss out on all of that, we release a podcast on Wednesdays. You can find out all about that if you follow us on Twitter at EQ Points.
And, well, Chris, you already did your outro. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, we just love you all and hope to see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and if any one of you are at Gen Con, come say hi. I'm not shy. I don't bite much, often.
Unless you ask.
That'd be awkward. So, ciao everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.